Question: what is the main issue for tensions in a relationship?
If I had to mention one central theme in relationships, leading to tensions within the relationship, it would be safety and expectations.
Expectation says, "You should make me feel safe." Safety replies, "I can't grow where I'm expected to be your savior." Yes, safety and expectations. And a sense of insecurity leads to the need for control and manipulation, and the whole toxic dictionary.
Okay. Relationships, regardless of gender, are always between a masculine and a feminine energy person. Meaning, whether in same gender, hetero, or non-binary forms, the dance is almost always between masculine and feminine energies, not about who you are, but what energy you lead within the relationship.
One participant in the relationship is mainly masculine energy driven, and the other is primarily feminine energy driven. So in that light,
the masculine often seeks freedom, respect, space, purpose, clarity. The feminine often seeks emotional safety, connection, presence, understanding, attunement. When the feminine feels unsafe, she tends to activate control. When the masculine feels controlled, he activates withdrawal or rage, depending on shadow depth. Let's elaborate. The masculine is often the wounded masculine.
This masculine feels the pressure of providing safety because the feminine asks for it. How does the masculine try to provide safety? Let's dive deeper into the trauma tango.
Let's expose the wounded masculine's strategies when he tries to provide safety, not from his essence, but from his ego armor.
Wounded masculine: I must provide safety. But it's not love-driven. It's pressure-driven. The feminine's unspoken fear awakens his unconscious need to be enough.
So, how does he try to provide safety? Here are his common ego-driven strategies.
1. Control.
If I can control her environment, feelings, and behavior,
she'll feel safe.
This leads to micromanaging, possessiveness, and even emotional policing.
2.
Fixing, problem solving.
If I fix her issue fast enough, her distress will end and I'll feel like a man.
This bypasses the feminine's emotional process.
She doesn't want a solution, she wants presence. 3. Withholding emotion.
If I stay stoic, grounded, and don't show my own fear, I'll appear strong and trustworthy. But this actually creates emotional disconnection, which triggers even more unsafe feelings in the feminine. 4. Providing, materially. If I give her money, a home, plans, structure, she'll feel safe. He confuses material security with emotional safety. 5. Overpromising, false reassurance. Don't worry, I've got you. Everything will be fine. He says what he thinks she wants to hear, but it's ungrounded and often not followed through. 6. Performing strength. If I just show her I'm powerful and unaffected, she'll feel protected. But underneath, there's a little boy afraid of not being good enough. And here's the tragic irony: the more he tries to perform safety, the less safe he actually feels. Because it's not authentic. And the feminine feels that. So the masculine tries his best to provide the desired safety, to feel loved, appreciated, validated, and worthy. But the masculine has the perception or conditioning that it has to provide safety and protection in a physical, material, practical and financial way. That's his perception and conditioning on safety. So, the masculine works his ass off to prevent rejection or to earn love. The masculine conditioning on safety. From a young age, many masculine beings, regardless of body gender, are taught, your value is in what you do, not in who you are. So naturally, love equals performance. Worth equals utility. Appreciation equals provision. Safety equals tangible output. What does this create? A performance-driven provider who is terrified of being emotionally irrelevant. So he gives money, structure, plans, fixes, problem solving, security systems, inner and outer. And here's the kicker: he's not doing this from love, he's doing this to avoid the feeling of being unloved. What is the unconscious driver? If I don't make her feel safe, in my way, she will leave me, criticize me, betray me, replace me, withdraw from me, which links straight back to the wounded masculine's own mother wound or original feminine rejection. So yes, he works his ass off, wears the armor, becomes the knight.
But deep down he's a beggar for love, disguised as a provider of safety.
And then, he ends up feeling unseen, unappreciated, misunderstood.
Which spirals into withdrawal, anger, or collapse. So yes,
the masculine energy is aimed at preventing failure and, subsequently, rejection or abandonment in any shape or form.
Yes, the feminine.
In general, not very clear or spoken, or mystical, also out of fear, she says.
I don't feel safe.
But what is her definition of safety? Let's illuminate the feminine's holy grail of safety, a concept often whispered, rarely defined, and deeply misunderstood.
The feminine definition of safety, not the house. Not the money. Not the plan. But this: can I be fully seen, felt, and held?
Without being judged, fixed, or abandoned?
Her nervous system scans the masculine constantly for signs of attunement. Do you feel me? Present, are you with me, not just physically?
Capacity, can you hold my storm? Consistency, will you still be here when I'm messy? Truth, are you real, or are you performing a role? Deeper layers of feminine safety.
1.
Emotional safety, can I cry, rage, doubt, melt, express my chaos, without you withdrawing, mocking, or shutting me down?
2. Energetic safety, can I surrender without having to be the container? 3.
Intuitive safety, do you feel when something is off with me, even when I'm not saying it? 4. Relational safety, are you still with me when I stop being convenient?
5.
Spiritual safety, is your soul anchored enough that I can lose my form and not lose myself?
Here's the catch: she doesn't always know how to articulate these needs. Because she was likely taught not to have them. Or was shamed for being too emotional, too needy, or too much. So she ends up saying vague things like, I don't feel safe. Something's off. You don't get it. Or worse. She says nothing and pulls away in silence. Meanwhile, the masculine, who's been pouring concrete walls and direct debit love letters, feels, what the hell do you want from me then?
Let's sketch the sacred tragic love loop, a beautiful catastrophe of good intentions plus profound misunderstanding. The safety misconception loop, aka why love feels like a battlefield. Step 1. The feminine feels unsafe, not because there's no house or plan, but because she feels unseen, emotionally alone, or energetically unheld.
She says, I don't feel safe. What she means, I don't feel emotionally connected to you.
Step 2. The masculine reacts with fixing. His conditioning says, her safety equals my job.
I must do something now.
So he offers solutions, creates plans, works more, withdraws to think, becomes stoic to appear strong. He tries to provide what he believes safety is: tangible action, structure, control.
But it's the wrong currency.
Step 3. The feminine feels even more unsafe. Now she feels unheard, dismissed, emotionally abandoned. She says, you don't get me. Or
silence.
Tears. Emotional storm.
What she means, I feel alone in this connection.
Step 4. The masculine feels like a failure. He internalizes, no matter what I do, it's not enough. Now he shuts down, gets angry, feels rejected, may withdraw completely, feels like love is a losing game. He begins to resent her needs because they reflect his unworthiness.
Step 5. The feminine feels unsafe again. Now sensing his withdrawal or resentment, her system screams, he's not here with me.
Which triggers hypervigilance, emotional reactivity, overexpression or collapse, criticism masked as yearning, pleading, masked as coldness. Step 6. The loop intensifies. He says, you're too much.
She hears, you're not lovable. She says, you never listen. He hears, you're never enough.
Now they're both just begging for safety, but speaking in opposing dialects of love.
Final step, the trade of mismatched currency. He trades gold, structure, effort, for her silver, emotional presence.
She offers silver, vulnerability, expression, but he was waiting for gold, peace, clarity.
Both feel bankrupt.
both feel unloved.
Even though both were giving what they thought was everything. The tragic beauty, this loop is not rooted in malice. It's rooted in love, distorted by fear and survival roles.
They're both still little children inside, wanting the same thing: please see me, stay with me, love me, when I'm not performing.
I suppose the priority number one redemption path is the inner union within each individual, both of which carry a disbalance in their own masculine and feminine energies.
Of course, I think it is logical, as a result of childhood trauma in which the child has been taught, in various ways, to favor its masculine or feminine energy the most. This is the root of all relational loops: disowned energy within the self, rooted in childhood trauma, projected onto the partner in an unconscious bid for healing.
Let's walk this with clarity and reverence, the true redemption path, inner union of masculine and feminine within the individual. No relationship can be whole when both individuals are divided within themselves.
Step 1. Childhood conditioning of energetic favoritism. As children, we adapt to survive.
We choose, or are pushed into, leading with one energy more than the other, often because, A. To gain love from one parent, daughter becomes nurturing, pleasing, and emotionally intuitive to win daddy's heart.
Son becomes stoic, strong, and an achiever to gain admiration from emotionally distant mom. B. To avoid conflict with the same-sex parent, daughter suppresses her wild feminine side so as not to outshine her wounded mother. Son suppresses his vulnerability to avoid shaming from a weak or absent father. Result?
We form a core wound: I am only lovable if I become what others need me to be.
And in doing so, we split from half of our true energy. Step 2. Adult relationships mirror the energetic gap. What I didn't heal in myself, I will try to extract from you. The woman who disowned her masculine energy becomes over-reliant on her partner's direction, resents his control, and fears making her own decisions. The man who disowned his feminine energy cannot process emotion, feels overwhelmed by her feelings, and resents her for needing what he has buried. Each becomes a reflected battlefield of the inner war still raging inside. Step 3. Projected healing. Attempt equals repeating trauma. The couple now unconsciously reenacts childhood dynamics. She becomes the needy daughter, he the emotionally unavailable father. He becomes the performing son, she the judging mother. Instead of love, they relive their incomplete pain story, hoping this time it will end differently. But it never does, unless. Step 4. The inner union begins. True healing only begins when each individual turns inward and says, "What am I expecting you to heal in me that I have not yet dared to love in myself?" This is the turning point. Feminine inner union path, regardless of gender, reclaims emotional sovereignty, learns to self-source safety, feels without blaming, speaks without manipulating, reparents the inner child's need for emotional validation, welcomes her own chaos with grace and grounding. Masculine inner union path, regardless of gender, reclaims emotional depth, learns to stay present without fixing, feels safe holding rather than controlling, drops the armor of being enough through doing, offers presence, not performance, to self first. Sacred union equals I become the parent I needed. When the masculine within holds the feminine within, and the feminine within trusts the masculine within, the loop dissolves. Now, the partner is no longer a source of safety or love, but a mirror and amplifier of what already exists inside. As children, we are not just loved. We are programmed. We learn to chase the shadows of connection. And when love is unavailable, we adapt. We become who we think we need to be. To finally be seen. True safety comes within. True safety is not about doing, performance, gathering, or controlling. We all crave emotional safety, to feel worthy of love. To be appreciated, to be protected. Often seeking it in partners, purpose, and potential outcomes of our actions. But true safety resides within. In the emotional connectivity of your own masculine and feminine energy. In the emotional connectivity of unconditional curiosity and unconditional self-love. In the only relationship that can ever truly make you happy, your own inner union. The sacred marriage between your own masculine and feminine energy, both understanding the real definition of safety, being present. Thank you for watching, see you next time.